It's now 9:34. Joining us in the studio this morning to talk about a very prominent company that we've all been hearing a lot about, doing great things in the community and all over. THOR Companies, please welcome RAVI Norman. He's the Chief Executive Officer of THOR Companies. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, am I saying RAVI is RAVI or...
You said it just fine.
Perfect, though. I get 10 points from me.
20.
20 points. I love it. So let's talk about THOR. There are some people, we've been seeing a lot of community events that you guys been doing, and recently the building that you just you got over here in North Minneapolis. Tell us about this facility and what it brings to the community.
Yeah, so, just as a building, it's 92,000 square feet of office and retail, 627 structured parking stalls. But a building is just a building. I mean, it's pretty to look at, but it only matters in terms of what's going on inside the building and what's the purpose of the building. What's inside is on the top floor, which isn't done yet. Hennepin County is moving North Point and some other services over. We sold that to them in a condo purchase agreement, so they bought that floor. And then we also sold them roughly 440 stalls in our parking ramp. On our floor is ourselves. We have about 17,000 square feet. MEDA, the Metropolitan Economic Development Agency, who is certainly investing in and supporting minority-owned businesses, and they just had a $1 million equity challenge for minority-owned businesses around the country. I think at least half of them, though, were Minnesota businesses.
Wow.
And selected 10 finalists now who are going to come back in January and hopefully get some form of financing. And then Target Corporation is also on that floor as well. They have about 4,000 square feet of some cooperative space and different things that they're using, almost hotel style, to bring executives through in other parts of their organization. And then on the retail floor, we have Build Wealth Minnesota and David McGee, who is helping people with their credit and the concepts of home ownership in our community, which we think is a critical aspect of community and economic development. And then we got MEI Fitness Center, which is an African-American owned fitness center and gym and personal training. He has about 4,000 square feet, and so we'd love to get people over there, of course, supporting health and wellness, and that gives us a connection, obviously, to what's happening with North Point, or our neighbors, as well as Estes, which we kind of think of as healthcare and wellness from birth to death, right? The full cycle. And then Sammy's Eatery here on Broadway is also opening a grab and go down there as well. So Sammy's hopefully have that done here in the next 30 to 60 days, and we'll be able to have a food amenity available to all the folks on the Penn and Plymouth corner. Of course, Urban League is there, and the University of Minnesota's Urban Research and Outreach Center.
That is amazing. And I wasn't aware of how many different businesses and organizations was inside of the new facility. What does this say to the community? How did this come about? Who said we need something like this in this community? And this is going to make changes for how people view the North Side and how people just what the thoughts that they have about North Minneapolis. What does this say to the community? Yeah,
well, we hope it's a beacon of hope, and that people can see that we're capable of doing anything. We always, as a people, dream big. I think oftentimes our community is there's a bunch of concealed value in the people that's missed when people are assessing us. Sometimes they miss all of our productivity, the innovation and resiliency that's happening with us. We've always done more with less. Personally, that land was vacant for I think at least 12 to 14 years. There was obviously a McDonald's that was there before. And for THOR, we were up on 694 University for decades and had been trying to find a way to get what I call closer to home. And so we had been targeting that land actually for about 6 years, about trying to figure out what to do, sometimes in conversations with University of Minnesota. And then actually I was a part of a different financing group at one time that was trying to support Glenn Ford, who had the development rights of that land for a while, and he was looking at doing some things that were more centered around food. And I was definitely supportive of that. And then when we couldn't make the financing work in a full package, I thought, well, I'm not going to let this get out of African-American controlled hands, and so we worked hard with a group of folks to come up with what we came up, and I'm happy to see that it's there.
That's amazing.
And ownership matters. You know, we own the building.
Yeah.
It's not owned by anyone else except for Hennepin County's part that they own for their floor upstairs. But we feel happy about that because I think ownership matters. I want we should own the assets in our community, and that's, I guess, part of what we want to promote. And
Right.
it doesn't always have to be THOR, but all of us. We should own our own ideas. We should own our own money. We should own our own assets.
And that's a big statement to make right in this community. I know this was a couple years back, but I think it's still significant. You were voted Minnesota's most admired CEO of 2016 by the Minneapolis St. Paul Business Journal. And just hearing you speak and having a conversation with you for the first time, I can see why. But what is that? What does that mean to you? I have never heard of this, and I'm thinking you might have kicked that off. What does that say to you as a CEO of THOR, to African American CEO of THOR, to have that kind of a title?
Yeah, I mean, I hope, again, it's just a concept of hope, and that people realize that, you know, we're as good as anyone else. And if you give us a shot,
Right.
you know, we're going to always, I think, do 2 times as good. So
Right.
it's great to have that for me. I mean, I've learned a long time ago, though. I learned a lot more in the things that don't work than the things that do. Sometimes I learned a lot more when people are giving me things I need to work on versus when people are patting me on the back. So the accolade is cool, but you know, I've learned that you got to try to stay humble because it can lead to self-idolatry,
Yep.
and then you can set yourself up, and the pride is kind of
Yep.
comes before the fall. So whatever accolades I get, I appreciate them, but you know, I don't kind of live for those. I live to do the work. My legacy is really in how can I not just achieve my own dreams, but more importantly, unlock other people's potential and help them reach their dreams. And so that's what I try to do for the people in my company. That's what I want to do for all the people that I define community as when people intentionally behave like they belong together. So I want to behave intentionally like I belong with all of our people, and that if I could be a mentor, a supporter, and people realizing whatever their aspirational dreams are, then that's what I really feel like my legacy is about.
Amazing. When we're running out of time, we got to wrap it up. We're talking to Ravi Norman. He's the CEO of THOR Companies. So we're inside of our We Are You 2 Radiothon, our fall Radiothon here at KMOJ. We pretty much reached our goal. Thank you to everybody who's donated. But you, being a supporter of KMOJ, what do you say to our listeners, and what would you say to them in support of KMOJ right now with this Radiothon?
Well, you know, always for us, by us. And I would say, you know, KMOJ has for such a long time been the voice of the people. And, you know, we need to protect our legacy institutions. KMOJ is one of those, you know, just like the Urban League, just like the African American Church. We need to be reinvesting our time, our talent, and our treasure into those institutions, because those are what hold us down. You know, that's what community really is about. We should hold down those assets and institution, and more importantly, the people that have been there, living, working, and playing, and being committed to continue to move us forward as a people.
Absolutely. Very well said. Thank you so much for your time, Ravi. Ravi Norman, the CEO of THOR Companies. Where can people just find out more information about THOR itself?
www.thor.build. Sorry, I got people behind me telling me where it is. But we're over at 1256 Penn Avenue. The main number is 763-571-2580. Call us, get on the email, but most importantly, come see us, because the building is open. We're open for work. We're open for play. We're hosting things. If there's a community event that you want to see, you can do at the building. You can contact Lisa Crawford in our office, who can coordinate that activity, because we want it to be used.
Right.
We want people to see our building as not just a THOR building with just the occupants that are there as tenants, but a place that can be used by the people.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ravi. Appreciate it. It's not